You ever hear a sound that makes your stomach drop before your brain even figures out what happened? Yeah, so picture this one. Crisp, boring Tuesday morning. I'm standing in my kitchen, halfway through my first cup of coffee, and suddenly there's this horrible crunch from outside. Not a fender bender, not a squirrel in the trash can. No, this was the kind of noise that tells you, buddy, something in your life just changed for the worse. I'm out that front door before my second socks, even on heart-pounding coffee in one hand, confusion in the other, and there it is, my hedge. My pride and joy, the one I'd babied for 15 years, shaped into something resembling order in this HOA jungle. And now, obliterated. Not trimmed, not dinged, flattened like a bad joke at open mic night. And right there, in the dirt, sparkling like a sick little trophy, is a piece of someone's headlight. Here's the thing. In a normal neighborhood, this would be an odd accident, a story you tell at dinner and then move on. But I don't live in a normal neighborhood. I live in a place where common sense goes to die, a land governed by the HOA and ruled by Karen, the president queen of petty and self-declared keeper of suburban order. And I knew deep down that what happened to my hedge wasn't just some oops, sorry. No, this was personal. Let me tell you about Karen. She's the type who measures your grass with a ruler and times your trash cans at the curb. Her clipboard isn't just an accessory, it's Excalibur, and she's on a holy crusade to eradicate joy color and non-conforming shrubbery from this earth. She once fined a guy for having a Halloween pumpkin with menacing energy. I wish I was kidding. So when my hedge got flattened the first time, I thought, hey, maybe a delivery truck, maybe a kid learning to drive. Second time, my optimism got in a cab and left town. Third time, please, I knew exactly whose fingerprints, or at least whose influence, was all over it. Karen hated my hedge like it owed her money. She'd been on me for months, letters, emails, suggestions that maybe my little patch of green didn't fit the HOA aesthetic. And yet this woman's got a plastic flamingo in her yard so neon pink it could redirect airplanes. The hypocrisy was enough to drive a man mad. After the fourth attack, when it looked like a monster truck rally had come through, I'd had it. I set up shop on my porch with a thermos of nuclear-strength coffee ready to make eye contact with whatever maniac kept treating my property like a demolition derby. But you know how it goes every time I blinked, sneezed, or turned to nuke my coffee bam. More tire tracks, more damage. I asked the neighbors, but suddenly everyone was either deaf-mute or just real busy watching their mailboxes. Old Miss Henderson, who knows everything before it even happens, just gave me a spooky look and muttered, "They come at odd hours, dear." Thanks for nothing, Helen. Meanwhile, Karen kept upping the anti-HOA violations stuck to my door every morning. Hedge height out of compliance. Hedge presents a safety risk. A safety risk only to anyone driving a car directly into it, which, come to think of it, was exactly what kept happening. I tried reasoning with her, caught her on her daily power walk, nose in the air like she was trying to smell a promotion. Karen, I said, my hedge keeps getting hit 4 times. This isn't an accident. She gave me the world's fakest look of sympathy and suggested, wouldn't you know it, that maybe it was time to remove it? Like the hedge was asking for it. That's when I went from angry to something way better, fed up and ready to get creative. So I turned my living room into an unofficial surveillance post, moved furniture, stocked snacks, kept watch like a sleep-deprived raccoon. Nothing for 3 whole days. I started to think maybe I'd finally scared off whoever was behind the wheel. Nope. One evening, wrench in hand, I step inside for maybe 2 minutes, and there it is. The rumble of an engine. I whip around, and here comes a black SUV barreling down the street like it's got a score to settle. The thing swerves, floors it, and just annihilates what's left of my hedge. Whoever was behind the wheel was watching me just as closely as I was watching them. Not an amateur, this was an operation. And for the first time, I actually saw the driver, a man not Karen. Broad shoulders, cool as you please, like running over shrubberies is just part of the job. The SUV backs up, peels out, and vanishes. But the best part, another hunk of headlight, this one even bigger, left right in the mud. That's when my brain shifted gears from frustrated homeowner to petty mastermind. I had proof now. Whoever was doing this wasn't just trying to annoy me, they were trying to send a message. But why? Why go to all this trouble over a hedge? And then it clicked. This wasn't just about Karen's personal vendetta or her weird war on hedges. There was something bigger. Somebody wanted me gone, and Karen was just the attack dog. So naturally, I planned a little surprise. Couple bags of concrete, some steel rods, landscaping stones, a lot of sweat. And boom, my hedge became Fort Knox, only prettier. Covered it up to look like the same old battered green. If anyone tried to play bumper cars with it again, they were in for a rude awakening. Didn't have to wait long. Middle of the night, a mechanical scream rips through the darkness. I dash out in pajamas, and there it is, the same SUV front end crushed, stuck in my yard wheels, cocked at an angle you only see in car commercials about what not to do. And next to it, Karen's husband Richard clutching his wrist and looking like he just learned about Newton's third law the hard way. Karen herself shows up, face redder than her flamingo, and the meltdown begins. I play it cool, point out that if you ram a hedge 4 times, eventually the hedge is going to ram back. She tries to blame me for booby-trapping my own property like any sane judge would buy that. Even the tow truck guy can't keep a straight face. But that's not even the twist. The next day, I take the busted headlight fragment to my buddy Dave at the local garage. He squints, whistles, and tells me this isn't your regular SUV. This is reinforced high-end. Probably belongs to someone with more money than sense. Funny thing, he adds, Karen brought in a wreck just like this an hour ago, talking about some developer named Langford and deadlines and permits. That's when it all clicks. This isn't about my hedge. This is about my land. Langford, big-time developer friend of Karen's, wants to buy up the street and needs my property out of the way. The hedge was just the opening shot. I confront Karen at the mailbox. She crumbles. Tells me Langford promised her influence upgrades, maybe a little cash under the table. She didn't have the guts to stand up to him, so she tried to make my life hell until I'd sell. Now she's terrified. Tells me he's coming tonight. Just take the money, Josh. Walk away. But that's not how I operate. Langford shows up all slick and smug, offers me 3 times the value of my home. I crumple the paper and hand it back. He leans in, voice dropping, and threatens unpredictable consequences if I don't fold. You ever see a guy try to intimidate someone and realize he just isn't scary? That was Langford. I know the game now. And I know how to win. I gather every shred of evidence, security cam footage, violation notices, the whole ugly paper trail. I call my buddy Joel a cyber wizard and we dig. Turns out Langford's involved in all kinds of dirty business, money laundering, fake permits, under-the-table deals with HOAs across the county. I package it all up and blast it off to every news station within 300 miles. And oh man, did the story blow up. The city council launches an investigation. Neighbors swarm the street, police cars show up, and suddenly the HOA board is resigning left and right. At 3:14 p.m., my phone pings Langford's been arrested on half a dozen charges. Karen disappears for a week, hiding out at her sister's. Finally, when the dust settles, Karen comes by. She's not the queen anymore, she's just tired, deflated, and for the first time honest. She apologizes. Says she let herself get swept up, let the HOA turn into something ugly. And you know what? For the first time, I believe her. The HOA disbands the next morning. No more fines, no more fake threats, no more power trips. Just quiet. I rebuild my hedge this time, taller, thicker, prouder. Miss Henderson shuffles over, gives her blessing, and even the birds seem to be singing a little louder. For the first time in ages, I sleep like a rock. You know, looking back, the real lesson wasn't about winning or losing or about how satisfying it is to watch karma flatten a Range Rover. It's about standing your ground. Bullies, big or small, expect you to give up. But if you document, stay calm, and refuse to be pushed around, you might just tip the scales. So now I've got my hedge, my home, and my peace back. And honestly, there's no better feeling in the world. But let me ask you this. If you've ever dealt with a nightmare HOA or a neighbor who went too far, what did you do? Was there justice? Did karma show up in a tow truck? Tell me your story in the comments, because trust me, I know I'm not the only one who's been through this kind of war. And hey, if you love seeing little guys stand tall and suburban villains get what's coming, go ahead and subscribe, because there are plenty more stories where that came from.